This is a step-by-step guide in which you will learn how to create and manage meeting policies and messaging policies in Microsoft Teams. Also, we will show you some additional features that are essential for performing advanced governance actions but are not available at Microsoft Teams and how you can gain access to them. We will give you some tips on how to perform actions like permitting guest access, blocking joining anonymously to meetings, and more. So let's begin. Meeting policies are a series of different configurations in meetings that allow or block certain users from features or from performing specific actions. Take into account that the following only works for users who have admin privileges in the Microsoft Teams tenants. Within Microsoft Teams, you can create and assign one or more custom policies to turn on or off the features that you want. To create a new policy, first log into Microsoft Teams Admin Center. Then, in the left menu, select Meetings, Meeting Policies. Finally, to add a new policy, click on Add. There are multiple options to select for meeting policies. Now, we are going to give you an overview of those options that are most relevant compliance-wise and to what end each of them can be used. These are the options you can enable or disable during meetings. Audio. With this setting, you control whether audio can be turned on in meetings and group calls. Video. With this setting, you control whether video can be turned on in meetings and group calls. Transcription. With this setting, you can control if captions and transcription features are available during playback of meeting recordings. By turning this setting on, a copy of the transcript will be created and stored with the meeting recording. Cloud recording. This setting controls if meetings can be recorded. Recording can be started by the organizer or by another participant, only in case the policy setting is turned on for the participant and if they are an authenticated user from the organization. Guests and people outside your organization can't start the recording. Screen sharing. With this setting, you let users share an entire screen, an app, or a file. You can let users give or request control, allow PowerPoint sharing, and more. Give or request controls. It allows you to configure whether anonymous or external participants can request control of the shared screen. Chat in meetings. This one controls whether meeting chat is allowed in the user's meeting. Take into account that it doesn't apply to channel meetings. Meeting reactions. Reactions are enabled by default, but they can be disabled or enabled from the admin center. Even if reactions are turned off, a user will still be able to use reactions in meetings they schedule. Private and channel meeting scheduling. Private meeting scheduling is enabled by default. With this setting, you control whether users can schedule private meetings. Remember, a meeting is private when it's not published to a channel in a team. And these are some other general options. Setting expiration time for meetings, cloud recordings, allowing storing recordings outside of your country or region, selecting which video filters are allowed, letting anonymous people start a meeting, setting which people are automatically admitted. The entire list of configurations for meeting policies can be seen here. Once you create a policy, save it by clicking Save at the bottom of the page. Then policies should appear in the policy list. If you want to edit, duplicate, or delete it, select it and then click in the menu on top. To assign a meeting policy to specific people, click in Manage Users. Add as many users as wanted, like in this example. You can assign a policy to a group by selecting Group Policy Assignment. To add a new group, select Add Group. Select a group by searching the policy you just created. By clicking Apply, you will see it in the results. So far, we have discussed all the options that are native to Microsoft Teams. But what happens when you want to perform advanced governance actions, but the features you need are not available at Microsoft Teams? Now, sometimes companies need to take a step further and establish policies to seize control over more complex issues such as enforcing recordings in all meetings, which users or groups are allowed to create teams or channels, which users or groups are allowed to add guests, allowing access to other tenants, blocking joining anonymously to meetings. The good news: all these features and more are available using AGAT Governance for MS Teams. Let's take a closer look at them. For many companies using Microsoft Teams, the unnecessary number of teams created, as well as the difficulty to assess who their members are both causes of distress. To seize control, you can use the creation and ownership feature, which defines which users or groups are allowed to be team owners, create teams, and create channels. Also, this feature allows you to decide who is allowed to add users or guests to teams. Another problem that can usually be found is that many companies want to restrict file uploading in Teams, SharePoint, or OneDrive in order to prevent the information from getting to the wrong recipient. To this end, AGAT Governance for MS Teams provides a file uploading feature with which you can decide who is allowed to upload files to Teams, OneDrive, or SharePoint independently. The Access Control feature helps you avoid the risk of employees getting guest access to other tenants or joining external meetings anonymously. Last but not least, a crucial tool: recording. With this feature, AGAT Governance for MS Teams allows you to enforce recording on every meeting. All these features are designed to help companies using Microsoft Teams perform advanced governance actions by gaining access to some key tools that are not available in Teams. If you want to get a free demo of AGAT Governance for MS Teams, reach out now. Our sales team will contact you and give you all the information you need.